Hello and welcome to episode 64 of the Football Retro Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, and today we've got a full screen to the max. We've got David, a special guest. We've got Fatty, we've got Akrim, we've got Adasi. How you doing, guys? How you doing, Adasi?
Yeah, good, thanks. Very good. Big result last week which we'll touch on, but yeah, it's been good.
Jumping straight away on that. That sums up his whole life. There's got a lot of stuff going on in life, but his main focus is on how Real Madrid went.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Yeah, look, I succumbed to the virus. I tried to dodge it like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, but it got me. So, so 2 years trying to duck away from it, but yeah, the Rona got me.
And that's the main reason why we are doing this via Zoom. A few of us have been affected.
Yeah.
A few.
Well, there's five going, little African kids? You going all right?
Me?
How many African kids are here?
I don't know. I was just waiting to see who you were talking about. But yeah, I'm fine, man. Thanks. No, I don't have the Rona. Although I wish I did, so I could stay home and get paid for it.
Akram, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Like a Adasi, still on the high from last week. Karim Benzema, best player in the world right now, right? I don't think anyone would argue that.
Fuck up.
I don't think anyone would argue that at all. David? No, come on, guys.
He's in the top three. He has to be in the top
three.
Top three? Fuck on top three. Look at these guys. Look at these guys.
Not best in the world.
Who would you pull first, Fatty?
He doesn't know any other players, really.
Virgil van Dijk.
David, who would you pull first?
Lewandowski has to be up there still. It'd be between Benzema and Lewandowski. Like, they both scored hat-tricks at the weekend, didn't they?
Lewandowski, 100%.
Mo Salah's not going to get a mention at all?
Yeah, Mo Salah makes up the top three. Actually,
Sadio Mane.
I had this conversation
Mane's cooled down a little bit.
If Benzema keeps up this form, I know we're only 3 months into the year, surely Ballon d'Or's in the bag for him. This form is unreal.
In the bag, man.
It is unreal.
Don't say that, Mersey, because then these guys, what's going to happen is when he doesn't win it, they're going to have a fucking hissy fit. It's fucking Barcelona bias, but there's going to be no Barcelona player there. Imagine Messi gets it while doing nothing.
I don't think he'll make top 20.
Messi's enjoying Disneyland in Paris.
He's fucked. What the fuck?
Weird statistic, though. In the top leagues in Europe, he's the player that's hit the post the most times.
Thanks, Adasi.
Of course, you have to find something to justify that he's doing something.
I said it's in Disneyland having a holiday.
You said, he's got the most posts fucking attempts or some shit.
I'm just throwing stats at you.
That's a shit stat. That's a stat to just try and prove that someone's still good. Honestly.
Speaking of, PSG shambles.
Yeah, that's a complete toxic club, toxic environment there. I don't know if you read the capitulation in that game in the second leg. They had it in control, and then Real, to their credit, they came back. But PSG, as usual, Champions League chokers there. And then afterwards, Leonardo and Nasser Khelaïfi going to the dressing room, threatening the referees and saying, "I'll kill you." That was recorded. Very embarrassing situation. And Pochettino's job, I think it's almost done there. I don't know if they're going to have patience with him.
There's a lot of fucking shit going on there, and it's just the tension is ridiculous now because there's a lot of expectation with the signing of Messi, and then you've got that front three, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. You would think that if you're ever going to have a crack at the Champions League as PSG, this would be the squad to do it. Clearly, there's a disharmony there. Clearly, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, something's not right there. The rest of the squad, I don't know what's going on. Even the fans feel it. On the weekend, I don't know who they were playing. They were winning, and every time Neymar or Messi touched the ball, they were getting booed. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And before the game, they were reading out the player names. Mbappe got applauded. Neymar, Messi got booed. So yeah.
And Mbappe's going to Real Madrid. So.
Well, yeah, he's going to go. He's going to leave. He's not going to stay.
Yeah, Pochettino's definitely going.
Now's the perfect time for Mbappe to leave without looking shit because he can just say, "Man, the club's fucked. Like, I've got to focus on my career." He's making a move. Whereas if everything was going great and he left, he looked like a mercenary. He's going for money, whatever. Now he's got like if I was him now, bang, I'll jump.
There's talks of Zidane coming in, taking over the club there. There's talks of Messi going back to Barcelona. in June.
There's talk of Ramos leaving after 1 year. I mean, he's hardly played, and you can just tell the situation in the club is just a joke.
Fair enough. Speaking of a joke, Chelsea situation. So all these sanctions coming in, sponsors pulling out, Abramovich wanting to sell the club. What do you guys make of this?
It's I think it's really unfortunate for the supporters of Chelsea Football Club, and I think it's a bit tough. It's a little harsh. It's indicative of 2022, isn't it? You can't do anything. No global event can occur without these implications going all the way around the world. Private citizens, foreigners in different countries, everyone under microscopes, the media on top of everyone. The pressure was ridiculous. It is an unprecedented situation, but it's unprecedented times.
Do you think it's fair?
I don't think it's fair. But it's a tough one, Johnny, because I mean, in this situation right now, that we really don't want to get into too much, but nothing about this situation is fair. So it's just a really shitty time for a lot of people.
I agree what you're saying. We're not going to get into the politics side of things, but I think it's bullshit that it's members, the players, the employees, the club itself is suffering. The sponsors are pulling out. What do the members have to do with anything that's going on ever in Russia and Ukraine? What do the players have to do with it? They're just doing the job because the owner is Russian, and the owner's seeing this and saying they're attacking me personally, so I'm going to sell the club so the club doesn't get punished for my nationality. Possible ties to Putin. I don't know his personal life. But that's the way I see it. I think it's unfair in that regards. If Chelsea have direct connections with Putin and what's happening with Ukraine,
it's one
story.
Thing. But
but just because the connection of a Russian being in the club, different story.
But I think
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
That's the problem with foreign ownership in general, is that you have now so many foreign nationals buying clubs. It was almost inevitable that politics was going to come and take over the Premier League in that aspect. If it wasn't Russia, it was going to be the Middle East, something.
But let me ask you something, David, just to touch on that point. So you're saying that, it's happening now because of foreign ownership, but why isn't, American owner being scrutinized? America's committing war crimes left, right, and center. Why don't they say, the Glazers or, fucking fuckwit at Arsenal is American, so let's just fucking sanction. Same thing with the fucking Saudi owners. Or, are you telling me the Saudi owners?
Yeah, it's the spotlight.
Like Saudi Arabia is probably the worst country, one of the worst countries in the world when it comes to human rights. But hey, it's fine. Let's turn a blind eye.
No, 100%.
And give Qatar the World Cup.
So that's fine. If we're going to take a virtue signaling approach, or we're going to say, we're going to punish certain people because of their background. Now, whether there's connections or not, they need to be brought forth. If there is, say, this person is sending money there, or he's funding this, or he's supporting this, then I understand. But if that's unfounded and it's just hearsay, he's Russian, so let's just fucking punish him because we don't agree with what's happening there, then you got to apply the same approach across the board. Otherwise, it starts to look like you're picking and taking sides, and it becomes more of a signaling rather than anything that's actually going to achieve shit, because it achieves nothing. Because you punish more people than you're actually helping.
No, I mean, you're 100% right, Fatty. I mean, but isn't that like, really what happens in this day and age is that one issue, one topic, one event gets more public publicity, more of a narrative than another, and another just kind of snakes by, unharassed. And you're right. I mean, Dave mentioned Qatar World Cup. We're talking about the Saudi owners. The United States in itself has committed a lot of issues and a lot of, like you said, war. No international sports, companies, no Olympic representations been, in danger for the United States. And that's really like just that triumph of controlling the media from the US point of view. And like, even in in this particular event, regardless of what you agree personally, the narrative has been purely an anti-Russian, pro-Ukraine narrative. And now that could very well be the correct agenda. I'm not suggesting one way or the other, but we can see where the narrative is going. And then it's like a snowball where everyone wants to jump on board. I've been quite surprised the amount of private enterprise that's been impacted by this. Apparently, Russia, I thought they went everywhere.
But the world was saved when Woolies changed the.
I was going to say, Akram, that's the most fucking balanced view you've ever said about anything. I'm so surprised. Respect.
Yeah, man. Australia's biggest retailer putting their point forward, making a statement.
Amazing.
Putin.
Mate, I'm going to go buy some fucking chicken Kieves. Yeah.
You have one more thing with that is you have the Everton owner, Usmanov, also a Russian billionaire.
Yeah, no, Arsenal's ex-shareholder.
Yes, correct. But no sanctions against Everton. So I do wonder if there's stuff that's not being told about the sanctions, because they're in the same boat, right? They're both billionaires. They're both Russian. They both own English clubs.
But Roman's more successful.
Yeah. Everton's copying it anyway because they're going to get relegated.
Yeah.
All right, on that note, let's get the show started.
Welcome to the Football Retro Podcast.
The word welcome, I guess, is stretching it a little when you're an Australian in a place like this today.
Welcome back. Let's get started on this big episode. So today,
Welcome back,
episode
Akram.
64. Episode 64. We thought we'd start off with talking a little bit about video games. Obviously, Nintendo 64 is where the connection is. Some of us had it back in the late 90s, I believe. The cartridges.
I was a
Putting it back in.
PlayStation PS1 man here.
That was a big
you were on the
rivalry.
whole
The
episode.
PlayStation.
Get the fuck off, Adasi. Get the fuck off.
Adasi, you're on the episode, bro.
Darcy was playing Shane Warne cricket. We didn't.
David-
Great game.
Oh, Shane Warne.
David,
Great
go
game.
down and swap Adasi's square.
Did you have a
PlayStation
64, Fatty?
I had both. I had a 64 and a PlayStation.
Oh,
Baller. Was your PlayStation chipped?
Fucking Gonskis. I paid $300 for it from fucking Parkley Markets.
For the chip.
do you remember the chip that you could buy for
I
the...
got it chipped. I took it down to some weird bloke. They said, "I'll go here, go through this, left, right, find the place. This guy chips it for you." I remember haggling him to get it chipped for me, and then he did an external one that you plug in.
Yeah.
And when he turns it on, where it does all these rainbow colors, I thought the fucking thing was going to explode, but it worked.
Remember the 64, Akram? I know you had one.
Oh, 100%. You know,
WCW Revenge is the game that comes to
yeah,
mind.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
you know, hours spent on that.
Who played GoldenEye on 64?
Oh, I was so shit at it.
100%.
It used to
What a
piss me
fucking
off.
game.
Yeah.
One of the best games of all time.
Johnny was never good at video games except FIFA.
I only played. I was only good at FIFA. I had every shooting at an NBA hang time.
What a
Any
game.
shooting game, I was unco. I couldn't. That's why I don't play Call of Duty. I don't play any of that. FIFA is the only one.
I didn't actually play NBA on 64. I played NBA Jam on Sega.
Yeah.
Same
Good
premise.
old Sega.
That was my first console. Sega. I remember my first FIFA. I don't know about you guys. Was FIFA 95.
Yeah.
And I remember playing with Ajax only because it was with A and it was the first. I was still Argentina, so I didn't know any difference.
Yeah, you couldn't
It
read.
was-
We know. Just say it.
I could read Spanish, not English. You racist fuck. There was this hack where
Ajaxi?
Ajax, the
cross the
spray and
ball.
wipe.
and if you cross it from the right place, it always goes in. And the circles around the place were actually stars. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
Which one was the one that had indoor?
97 and 98.
FIFA 97, which had Bergkamp on it.
That was 99 at Bergkamp.
Who was on 97?
Ginola, I think it was. David Ginola.
How the hell do you know that?
Shut up, Adasi.
How the hell
Yes,
do you know
trust
that?
me, I used to buy them every year. Trust me.
And he justifies it.
I think it
I
was
did.
95 or 96. I remember having it on computer, and you could stand in front of the keeper and it would go straight into your striker and go into the goal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you'd play a 2-minute match and end up winning 20-0 because you just
That's
could.
real. But that's real. If you do stand in front of the keeper, it could happen.
Adasi, you're right. David Ginola from Newcastle in the
Yeah.
cover of FIFA 97.
He was at his peak at that year. That's correct.
And there was a
And
Road to World Cup 98
Yes, I remember
My
that.
favorite FIFA of all time. That FIFA
Favorite? Why
Retro Cup.
favorite?
It was just a great game. It was had all the countries. I think the first time ever had every single nation you could qualify for the World Cup.
Yep.
You had all the clubs as well. Then you could play indoor as well. And the gameplay was very good as well for its time. Very good game.
The last few years, I felt like they tweak it just a little bit. They'll slow it
Yeah.
down or speed it up just for the sake of being different. So you have to buy the new one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously graphics have improved and everything like that. But
But between FIFA 21 and FIFA 20, like what's the
Honestly, you're paying like
Splitting hairs.
$70, $80 for the updated roster.
you're splitting hairs. I think.
They've adapted FIFA. I don't know, when did Ultimate Team come in to keep up with the time? So it's just a money-making machine.
Yeah.
That didn't exist. I don't know. Adasi, I'm looking at you. What year?
Ultimate Team. Oh, that was.
Akrim plays Ultimate.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, they came out about I think FIFA 11 or 12.
Yeah, around that.
That early on.
Yeah, that early on. I mean, but it wasn't like the money making craze that it's become. That really started in what, FIFA 16 or something, and now it's insane. It makes like $500 million on just Ultimate Team alone.
Like, you're not spending $80 on a game. Full stop. See you later. Let me play it till the next one comes out.
You're paying $1,000.
When did the online component come in? That you can verse people online. That was a big changing factor.
The online opponent came in about FIFA 2005. But it was just like you could do a friendly, and it was just online, and the servers absolutely were terrible.
Yeah.
You have to verse someone next door so it didn't drop out.
Because I started kicking your ass online Akrim about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Dude, you've not kicked my ass since we were kids, man. Now I play with one hand, just to make it more competitive for you.
I think I've played 5 games in the last 2 years. So yeah.
Okay, you have to justify it. Okay, no.
Notable mention to Pro Evolution Soccer PES as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a very, very good game. And if you wanted to fucking beat anybody, you either had Brazil or Inter Milan.
Inter Milan.
Adriana was insane.
99 shot power.
Once you'd get Adriana from halfway, you'd tap top right to push the ball really far, and then full power on the shot, and just fucking let the magic happen. It was bang, top every time.
Pro Evo was all over FIFA between 2000 and 2006.
How do you remember those dates? Tell me.
Because that's when Pro Evo was at its peak. That was at its peak.
Is that when Sony Japan Kagawa told you that's the fucking they're taking over?
No, that was.
Was it Pro Evolution that had different names for players? Didn't have the rights.
Yeah. Ronald and
there's different countries. Like different clubs were called different. Like Juventus called Turin.
Funny thing, I enjoyed that. I used to go in the edit mode and then spend like an hour or two changing the names and stuff.
Could you change the name?
Yeah, you could, but you couldn't you wouldn't get it in like the field. Wouldn't be the right stadium. The commentators wouldn't say shit. It would just be on paper. You just change it.
Yeah, look.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that.
2006, Pro Evolution was tops. Unbelievable game.
And the players had similar names, but not their real names.
Some had real names, some didn't. Yeah.
Pro Evolution, was that a spin-off of International Superstar Soccer? Was it the same developer?
Yes. Yeah, Konami.
Nintendo 64. That was a game.
Yeah. The best football game though was from the Konami developers, ISS Pro Evolution in 2000 on PlayStation 1.
Which one was
best game ever?
Which one was Adasi? This is football.
Yeah, that was a separate company that made that. So back then you had EA Sports, Konami. Yeah, This Is Football. I can't remember who the developer was. You had a couple other players in the game. And then after a while, it just became Konami and EA Sports. They're the only two players.
I had This Is Football.
Yeah. But I remember, Johnny, This Is Football was such a, was so unique because it had the licensing rights for players from like the last 50 years. And you had classic teams from all the iconic clubs and teams from the last 50 years.
You're right.
You'd have 50s Madrid, you had Marco van Basten and the Milan teams, and you would have all of that. And that was really unique because FIFA up until now still don't do that. The only way you can play with older players, legends, is on Ultimate Team. And this was the only game where you would have so much to play to unlock.
You can create your own teams and players, and you can give them 99 of everything, every single attribute. So there's a
6 foot,
team full of guns.
6'10".
But
Now,
but
do you guys remember, and I'm going way back now, in the arcades,
Yes.
that game, the football game, where you just run forward. Like it was just getting the plays and running forward, and you slide tackle when the referee will come and yellow card you, run away from the referee.
Yeah. You run away, he can't give you a yellow card because you're still running. You have to stop.
What was that game?
Fuck, I forgot.
I thought
And
that was International Superstars. That's what you mentioned. I thought that was the
There
name.
was one,
I think
there was one before it as well. This is earlier even than that, where it was all bird's eye view. So you literally just saw the tops of the players,
Yes.
like a circle head, and then you could just see their shoulders, and you could only see when they kicked like that. You could see the leg come out.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
then they
Yeah,
just around like little fucking dots.
we're showing our age now.
I think special mention not just to football simulation game, but also management games, Football Manager. That was I didn't play much of them, but I do recall they were very big back in the day. Those type of games.
I've
And, yeah,
read
still are.
different articles of
Yeah.
players playing stupid amounts of hours of Football Manager, and then like a third tier team in a European country will hire them based on their Football Manager CV.
I've read something. Yeah.
I don't know what I read recently, but one of the guys got the manager gig and got his team promoted from the third division to the second division based on the stats in Football Manager and the scouting network, because they're really accurate.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Like in the last couple of years, it's one of the most accurate and detailed kind of thing. Like it's unbelievable.
So you're gonna be able to find a hot girlfriend according to how much porn I watch?
I don't know if your wife has
If
something.
you rack up the hours.
On that theory,
You
my
rack up
resume
the
of
hours.
how much porn I watch should equivalent my performance. Oh, I should be disappointed. Any last comments on the video game situation?
Honestly, for me, the most important thing that I think, like, since we were kids, has been the licensing. Because back in the day, FIFA, Football Manager, this is football, Johnny. Everyone had and shared the licensing. Nowadays, it's become so difficult that even Football Manager doesn't have the full license for clubs or players, and even FIFA's lost a couple of clubs, as we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Juventus is not Juventus any longer because they've signed exclusive rights to Pro Evo, and that's really sucks, because if you like one game over the other based on their mechanics and how they play, like Pro Evo, like with Adasi, you don't get to have the same experience because of that.
I remember going overseas and Pro Evolution was much bigger than FIFA, and I was surprised about that.
Yeah,
as well.
overseas Pro Evo was a lot bigger than FIFA, especially in the WOG countries for us anyway.
I felt Pro Evo had that realism feel to it. I thought FIFA was a bit more arcadey. I don't know.
Pro Evo gameplay and realism in terms of what the players could do was more realistic. So a lot of people enjoyed that, and a lot of people played it and played it online as well. I used to play online religiously, and you'd get your rankings. You have to get world rankings against other people. I remember one time I played it that much, I'd be going till 2-3 in the morning until my rank was in the top 300 in the world, and it was ridiculous. But you'd lose one game and you'd go down to like 1,000, and I would be fucking spewing. I was addicted to that shit. It was ridiculous.
There have been some broken TVs, walls with holes in them, broken controllers.
Funny story, Johnny. You say broken TVs. I was not at my house one time, at a mate's house, and we were playing, and we used to play together. We would either play one game each, but with the same console to improve our ranking. And he wasn't there, and he said, get a few games in to start getting our run going, because we were planning on having a full night of playing. I said, no problems. I started playing. I started getting good rankings. And I'm like, when are you coming? He's like, I'll be there soon. And it was one of those old school projector TVs, but it was massive, bro. We're talking like 60, 70 inch with a massive back projector where the screen was just plastic because the light was projected from the back. I remember losing a shit fucking game in the last minute. I launched this controller at the TV. Next minute, there's a hole this big and the controller's lost inside the TV. I couldn't retrieve it. I had to think of a fucking excuse as to what happened. And this was my reasoning. I was walking past and I tripped and fell shoulder first.
Come on, bro.
No one believed that.
I swear to God.
Does this person know the truth?
I reached inside with my hand as far as I could, scratched the fuck out of my arm to pull out the to retrieve the controller from inside the TV cavity.
Does this person know the truth, or they're finding out now?
They're finding it now.
They knew.
Right at this moment. But I think
The
one
truth
thing
has
about
never been revealed till now.
one thing I'd like to see, I guess we've had Konami and EA Sports making football games for so long. Maybe like a third player. I was thinking 2K. Like they've done a great job with NBA and a couple other games, WWE, and they're like, maybe if they give a try to football type games, they might be able to play in the market as well. It's something that.
But Darcy, how many different FIFA covers do you remember?
From 95 probably until 2005, 6, I think, because there was a time I stopped playing.
Please.
All right, who was the 96 cover?
I know the PC one was like some player
Adasi and
running
Akrim.
and a player tackling him. I can't remember.
Did the Ukrainians hack you or something?
Nah, man, you just were going a bit long on that story.
Yeah, you're right, Darcy. Looks like a Brescia jersey or something.
He just had to refill his glass.
Might be Velas, hey.
Could be.
All right. Enough on the video games. I want to jump to a bit of a football quiz today. I want to ask you guys a few questions and see if you guys know the answer. It's mostly based around the rules of the game, the rules of football and when they've come in. So, for example, do you guys remember when the back pass rule came in? So when the keeper was unable to pick the ball up with the hands once received a pass from a teammate. Do you remember what year it was?
Early 90s.
1992.
Fuck off! You just googled that, you fucking liar.
It was.
Nope.
It was 92.
No, I didn't.
It was 92, and I think.
Don't be jealous, Sasso.
I think.
You're a liar.
I think it was a big changing factor in stopping teams from wasting time, helping teams press better. It's one of those rules that actually helped improve the game.
Develop keepers into a more.
I gotta say, watching old footage of the back pass looks so retarded. It just seems, it just feels
Now
wrong.
it does. Now it does.
It just feels wrong. Like whenever it was a bit of a cop out. Whenever you got stuck, just quickly pass back to the keeper. You had to. You could be a shit player. You could be stuck in a situation, or the other team pressed you, had nowhere to go. I just pass back to the keeper. So it was a bit of a cop out. So yes, you're right. I agree. It's a very good rule change. Forces.
It may have come off the back of the 1990 World Cup in Italy when that was regarded as one of the most boring World Cups in terms of average goals scored and the quality of football. So on the back of that, I think, as you mentioned, that rule came into play, which changed the game a lot.
Can you imagine someone like Mourinho or Simeone winning 1-0 and this rule not being in place? They would just abuse it. All right. Do you guys know which one was the first World Cup where there were yellow and red cards?
Oh,
wow.
First World Cup, which one was it?
1938.
Nope.
Right, if you didn't Google that, you're a fucking liar.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Much later.
Dude, how the fuck can I Google that in that fast, you dumbass?
Great.
It's like that. It's called the internet. It literally returns a.
Oh, really? That fast? Yeah.
What'd you say, Adasi?
70 or too late?
Yeah, 1970 was the first time.
Unreal.
So sending offs happened before. I know this because in the 66 World Cup, Argentina versus England, one of the Argentinian players got sent off, and on the way out, he wiped his hand on the British flag. But so they were sending offs before that. It actually happened in 1970 where they trialled the yellow and red cards for the first time. It was an English referee that came up with after seeing traffic lights, decided on the yellow and red.
So they
system.
trialed it in a World Cup.
1970, yes.
These days, if they would have probably pictured it from taking out the wheelie bins, the red one and the yellow one.
Is it your bin night tonight, Adasi?
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, there you go.
He's on fire. He's on fire. But yeah, and it's the same referee that refereed one of the dirtiest, if not the dirtiest game ever, they say, which is the 1962 game between Italy and Chile in the World Cup. And that sort of helped him, inspired him to come up with a system. He was sending players off and they couldn't understand him because of the language barrier. So that's an universal sign. There you go. some trivia for you.
Cool.
All right. This one, some of us may remember. I'm sure, Fatty, you're old enough to remember this one.
Fuck you, fuck.
It used to be 2 points for a win. At some point, it
No, I don't
changed.
recall that.
Really? There's 2 points for a win and 1 point for a draw.
How old do you think I'm? 60.
45 at least. But yeah, in the mid-90s, it actually changed to 3 points. As late as the mid-90s.
I don't recall that, actually.
I didn't realize it was so late that it happened.
Yeah.
97, right?
No,
Actually,
no.
95 was the bigger one. I lost the link.
So when did that change in the Premier League? Because back then I was only watching the Premier League.
No.
Right?
But you would have been playing football yourself in 95, 97.
Yeah, but that was bullshit. Didn't exist, right?
No.
We were kids.
I know the first World Cup, they had the 3 points for a win.
Was USA?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So it wasn't until the mid-90s where, and the whole theory behind that was to reward a more attacking team. So a win obviously was a lot more valuable than a draw. So that changed the game a little bit as well, where it encouraged teams to go forward and attack a lot more than the 1 point difference between a draw and a win. All right. First World Cup with subs in it.
First World Cup with subs.
Just take a guess. The first World Cup with subs were allowed.
The first World Cup was subs were allowed. I would say 1974.
Close. The one before that, 1970.
70 again.
Yeah.
It was the first for many.
There you go. And when was subs increased to 3? So back then it was 1, then 2 plus if you injure your keeper, you're allowed. But when were they definitely how we used to know it before COVID to 3 subs? It's a lot later than you think, I think.
It was a bit after that, much later after that, 100%.
82.
I would say 94.
Officially by FIFA it was 95, yeah.
Wow.
Which once again is much later than I thought originally.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2016, at the Euro was the first time that a 4th sub was introduced if the game went into extra time.
I do remember that. Yes. That I recall. I remember that Euro very well. Trust me.
Yeah.
Why?
I know that Euro and Bet365 were
Because you're a Ronaldo fan.
A match made in heaven. Over 4.5 throw-ins. Obviously now we are
in the 10-minute period between the 50 and the 59th minute.
obviously now we're up to 5 subs, and hopefully has anyone heard anything about bringing it back to 3? Has anyone made any announcements? Is the World Cup going to be played with 5 subs?
Looks like they're tipping at 5 for now.
I hate it. I hate that shit.
I think they'll have to keep it for 5, being in Qatar with the weather. That makes sense. I don't see them changing it for Qatar.
Stadiums.
But it's not that hot in November, so it should still be 5 anyway.
So
Isn't it still going to be in the 30s?
not that hot, down to 50 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Not as hot as June and July, that's for sure.
Yeah, but for playing conditions might be a bit of a different story.
Well, what's the point? They said they have
Not bad.
air-conditioned stadiums, right?
Who knows?
So
I mean,
that's
enough people died to make them, so hopefully they can play them.
Fucking idiots. Imagine they're buried. Do you reckon they're buried in a mass grave under the stadium?
I don't know. Ask Infantino. He might be able to tell you.
I shouldn't joke about that, eh?
First time a team had a sponsor logo in the front of the jersey. What year was that?
Ooh.
We're talking marketing and business now.
Would have been late 80s or early 90s.
Anyone else?
What's the question again?
If you're paying attention, you'd understand. First time a team had a sponsor logo in the front of the jersey.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be till late 90s.
91.
The first one actually happened was 1973.
Wow.
A German team, Eintracht Braunschweig.
Wow.
That was the first time it happened, and other teams started copying from there. Business was interesting. First team to sell replica jerseys to fans.
Oh.
Who was the first team and when?
Chelsea 2005.
And I'm not to create replica fans, to sell replica jerseys to fans.
My apologies.
Sorry, misunderstanding.
Um,
Come on, guys, just take a guess.
Boca Juniors.
What year?
It was Boca.
No, just give what year.
Oh,
So, yeah.
86.
Okay, wrong. It was actually Leeds in 1975.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But I don't know if you guys knew this. Leeds was blue and yellow before the 60s. In the 60s, it changed to white.
Yeah, the lily whites.
To replicate Real Madrid.
Why to replicate Real Madrid?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't read that much, man.
What a compliment.
You know why? You just don't like the answer.
No, I don't. I'm just asking you. But if you
No, you know why. You know why, Fatty.
You know, imagine a typewriter.
You know why, Fatty.
Inspiration.
It's all right. Yes.
Inspiration, is it?
I think so.
All right.
Blue
I've got
blue and yellow is still their away strip.
Yeah, of course. It's still the part of the club colours.
Yes.
But they don't know the whites. I didn't know that it was to replicate Real Madrid, but looks like they inspired people. Di Stefano and his mates.
Yeah, that's interesting. You go through those questions: back pass, yellow, red cards, 3 points for a win, subs, 3 subs. We all agree that they are all great rules for the game, I imagine. Are we going to look back in 40 years' time when Arsene Wenger has his way and you can have kick-ins? Are we going to look back and that produces 50 more goals per team per season and say, yeah, it's more exciting?
Or worse, Marco van Basten's idea of no offsides as well.
Yeah, under sixes football.
I reckon we'll look back and say 10 years from now and say, how slow was the VAR back then? That's all we'll do. How did it take 3 minutes to make a decision? That's one thing that needs to change straight away.
Yeah.
All right. Adasi and Akrim. Akrim can jump in as well. I've got a challenge for you guys.
Yeah.
If you get this right, Adasi, you're banned from the rest of your life, I think. You're gonna make me that angry. How many finals did Real Madrid win in Champions League?
Ah, come on, bro.
No, it's an easy one. How many?
Champions League or European Cup as well?
All together.
13.
All right, cool. Can you tell me the score and who they played against in every final of the 13?
I can tell you most of them, but not all of them.
Akram, can you help?
Can we work
I could help a little, but
Akram will only tell you the last 2. That's it. That's all.
No, Akram might know.
Since he's been a Real Madrid supporter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. The
All right.
consecutive ones. That's it.
Do you want to start from the latest one? Or you want to start from the beginning?
Well, the latest, no?
You want to go backwards there?
Yeah.
All right. Tell me the year, the score.
I swear to God, if he
Like I said, I don't know all these.
The year, the score, and the opposition. Hey, Fatty, what do you reckon Akram's doing right now? You reckon he's doing this?
yeah, imaginary typewriter.
Okay.
clearly that's how Fatty types. So
All right. Last Champions League Real Madrid won.
2018 against Liverpool, 3-1.
Next one.
The year before, 2017 against Juventus, 4-1.
The other one?
2016.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
Johnny, was that the one that Fabs went to and he was having a cry? Oh, fucking Juve, this and that. 2017.
Well, if Juventus was there, must have been. Yeah.
There was one that he went to anyway. Sorry, my apologies, Adasi.
I can't remember. Juventus made the 2015 World Cup final. Sorry, World Cup. The Champions League final.
Maybe it
as
was
well.
2015, yes. They lost to Barca. Was it Barca?
Yeah.
No, it was 2015 then. My apologies.
Yeah.
Sorry. So after Juventus?
Yeah, so 2016 Atletico Madrid, they won on penalties after a 1-1 draw.
What was the penalty score?
Exits the chat. Thank you,
Penalty
Akram,
score?
for your contribution.
5-4, wasn't it? 5-3.
Sorry?
5-4 or 5-3?
5-3, yeah.
5-3, yeah.
All right, before that one.
Here we go.
2014 against Atletico, 4-1.
That was a painful one.
Yeah, that was a great. The first one, the 10th one, that was. Number 10.
La décima.
Yeah. And then before that, 2002 against Bayer Leverkusen, 2-1, Zidane's volley.
Good. Before that?
I remember that. That was
2000 against Valencia, 3-0. The first final when it was teams from the same country.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, you used to not be able to do that. That's right.
Yeah, and then
The 2 years that Valencia lost 2 in a row.
the first one, yeah, and then the last year after.
0-1 to Bayern Munich, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was it penalties?
yeah.
Canizares, that fucking yellowhead cunt.
Pellegrino
Yeah.
missed a penalty. Karen Villa's coach, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
about to get sacked. Pardon that.
And
Okay, so we're up to 2000 Valencia.
98.
You want before that?
98 against Juventus, 1-0.
Who scored?
The first, Mijatovic.
Okay.
Fuck
You
off.
should have put bonus points for who's
That was the first
You
one
wouldn't be
in
able to tell me
32
every goal scorer so far, would you?
32 years from those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including the penalties? No, not including the penalties.
Well, one of them was, I remember that one.
Who were the five? Wait, hold on. I gotta Google this. I don't know.
Come on, bro.
Do you know this, Akram? 2016 final Champions League
None.
penalties. Hold on.
I mean, really,
I
there's
forgot I
only
had
three
Sabina just now.
guaranteed, right?
Well, you know, Ramos and Cristiano would have taken a penalty.
Marcelo.
Wait, hold on. All right. Who were the five penalty takers, Darcy?
Lucas Vasquez,
Go on.
Marcelo, Bale, Ramos, and Ronaldo.
Fuck you. Yes.
In order.
Yes, that was in order. That was actually in order.
I won't forget. I won't forget Vasquez.
Don't justify it. Stop. Don't justify
Coming
it.
up, no, taking the first penalty and spinning the ball in his finger with so much confidence. I'll never forget that.
Anyways,
Bro.
98.
and
This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets tricky. Before 98, when was last time Real Madrid won a Champions League?
Well, that was in the 60s. That
1960.
Eintracht Frankfurt,
You skipped one. You missed one in between.
Stade Rem.
Well, is that 63?
No, they didn't win one in 63.
Was
It's a World Cup year.
66.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know the score of that one? No.
It wasn't the 7-3 one.
No,
Was it?
that was
No.
the one before.
It was
That was 2-1 against Partizan.
Partizan Belgrade.
Oh, man.
That was
Yeah.
66 Partizan.
He's welcome back now next week.
You're lucky, Darcy. You both lucky you fucked
Right.
up otherwise.
Yeah,
All right, so 1960, you said.
yeah, was that Frankfurt?
Yeah, and that you obviously remember that one because that's the last out of the 5 in a row.
Yeah,
Real Madrid won.
7. Yeah, they actually SBS actually showed that game in I think early 2000s. Actually,
I remember watching that. I
It
remember.
was all in black and white.
Yeah.
SBS did a feature on that. Yeah.
All right, before that, 59. You one of the scorelines, do you?
No, I know they played a couple of times at the French team, Stade Rem.
Yep,
Or
that was one of them.
okay, and was one of them as well? Was Fiorentina? Did they play Fiorentina?
Yep,
or,
57. And you're missing one.
You're missing 58 and 56.
Wasn't it Saint Etienne? No. No.
Yeah, the
Wasn't
50s and 60s got you.
Yeah, Akram would be more into that historical side.
Where are you under the bus, Akram?
No, the history, man. You're into the history.
Yeah. He only watches historical stuff like the Serie A and shit. Oh my glory.
Glory
But
days.
now, like you just said before, you only watch the Premier League. Literally, you just said that before.
It's currently the most exciting league in the world.
No, but you said that when you were, 30 years ago, when
every
you
time-
were, a little lad, and that's all you still watch. Prem Merchant to the end.
Every time we
Prem
mention
Merchant from birth, mate. Prem Merchant from birth.
Serie A in the 80s was the fucking shit.
All right, sum it up. 56, they won 4-3 against Reims. 57, 2-0 against Fiorentina. 58, 3-2 versus Milan.
Yeah.
And then 59 and 60 we covered. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Most
I
of
can
them.
sleep tonight. If you
Most
got
of
if you got those 50s right, you're allowed to come back in ever.
Punished for being knowledgeable.
All right. Any last comments or words before we leave, guys?
Can I say on the video game thing, we didn't talk about This Is Football and the feature of you being able to dive. because that was the bane of my existence.
L2 or R2? What was it?
I used to get the shit because your brother was very good at it. And no matter what the score was, what was happening, he would just free kick and penalty after penalty for diving. And I'm glad they took that out of the game.
I think it was the L2 from memory.
Yeah, or maybe you pressed the joystick in, was it?
I don't know.
Wow.
Then the handball came in for a little bit as well.
That's a personal vendetta you got there, David.
I've held that grudge for a very long time. I'm glad I got to voice it.
That's why I stopped playing GoldenEye against him. He's a fucking kill me. I used to get the shits and walk out. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see what happens next week in regards to being face to face. Otherwise, we'll rely on technology again. But it's good to be back. Last week we couldn't do it, and we'll do it again next week. Next week, Fatty, please, your tips, man. Everyone's been asking for the bets. I get stopped on the street. I can't work. My phone keeps going off. One of the bets coming back.
World Cup qualifiers next week, not this one.
Is that next week?
I think so. The playoffs.
We can review that as well because either Italy or Portugal will miss out, so that's a big one.
Massive.
Ukraine got a free pass. So was it Ukraine? No, Poland got a free pass.
What are Poland playing to qualify?
Poland going to get a free pass for everything. They're taking on fucking refugees. They're going to get a free pass for the World Cup. What the fuck's going on?
I heard to the semi-finals.
Wow. All right, guys. See you next week.